It's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking.
Today's edition with very big laughter there, not just smiles, okay? This is because it's Monday, the 4th December 2023, and I'm so happy to be in the studio this morning. This is because you're out there listening, and those of you following on TV, and it's good to have you as well. We're reaching you live from the city of Jos, that wonderful city, the hills of ZINARIYA here in Plateau State, the home of peace and tourism. And for peace, we will do everything possible just to make sure we continue to live in peace. This is especially because we are broadcasting from home of peace and tourism. Beatrice Adumuiji remains my name, the anchor of Unity Train this morning. And as usual, Unity Train is that permit me to say, your number one political, socio-political, socio-economic program on radio and of course on TV. This is because I would always have guests who have a lot to give out to you, even as you follow, and that is why I boldly can say is your number one. Okay, all right. In case you want to follow us on our YouTube page, you can just go Unity FM TV. You'll be live with us on YouTube, and on Facebook just go Unity Radio FM/TV Jos. You'll be with us on Facebook, and you can do well to begin to drop your comments at the appropriate time. I'll be there to read all of them, God's willing. And again, our studio line remains the same. At the appropriate time, I'll be giving it to you, and so also that of the SMS. But it's going to let you know also that in case you want to promote your goods and services, do well to contact the marketing department of Unity 93.3 FM, or even call 08084789999, just in case you want to do any of such. I bet that you will not regret promoting your goods and services with us on Unity FM. Okay, and today's edition, the review segment, is as always that I have a very big surprise for you this morning. You least expect who is the analyst who will be taking care of the review segment, and it's someone you'll be very happy to hear as I announce his presence in the studio this morning. I'm talking about Professor Proveno H. Obamayi. Together we'll be taking the review segment, and so there are lots of issues, and I prefer to do this, to call it over the weekend, because lots of issues have popped up during the weekends. And so with Professor, we'll be looking at how possible we could bring some of these issues as we have them over the weekends. Prof, good morning.
Good morning, Colby.
Thank you.
Good morning, viewers and listeners. Greetings of peace to you from the hills of ZINARIYA, Jos Plateau State, Nigeria. It's a beautiful Monday morning, and this is 93.3 FM radio and Unity TV. We'll be having a very fantastic time this beautiful Monday morning, and I'm sure that by God's grace and mercies, the rest of your week will be wonderful, will be glorious, and will indeed be memorable. So please remain tuned as we discuss matters of importance nationally and internationally to you, and indeed every one of us across the globe. Good morning.
Okay, very quickly, Prof, I'll take us to Delta this morning, where a sad one occurred, and we would have to talk about it. This one says a train crushes woman to death in Delta here in Nigeria.
Yeah, this woman boarded a train and she alighted from the train. Fate has a way of doing things, because she had successfully left the train when she remembered that she forgot something inside the train. And instinctively, she decided that she would go back and take whatever it is she forgot. And by then, the train had taken off. After stopping at that particular point, the train was already on the move, and she ran after the train. And the story has it that somehow she fell down. And when she fell down backwards into the railway track. and she was crushed by the train, and her body parts were in pieces. Unfortunately, that life was lost. Our condolences go to the family of this woman, and indeed the people of Delta State, especially the community where this unfortunate event took place. But we have lessons that we can learn from this tragedy, and that is safety is number one. The law of nature is self-preservation. In a situation like this, you forgot something in the train, there is no way you run, faster than the train. Even if you're as fast as the train, you're going to get tired, and the train will keep moving. The best thing to do is wait and try to catch up with the train at the next point where it will stop, or wait for it when it will return back.
Yes,
of course,
it will return.
People will say, okay, maybe somebody will steal whatever it is. I don't know how important, what she forgot. But it must have been important to her. Maybe something quite precious. But there is nothing more precious than human life. So this is an unfortunate incident that took place, and we commiserate with the family for the loss of that life.
Yes, and still on a very sad one too, we go away from Nigeria, and this is probably just to get to look at the fact that insecurity is not only in Nigeria, it is still showing its ugly heads in some countries of the world as well. This one says 3 dead, several wounded as explosion rocks Catholic Mass. Is also another sad one, and then it happens in Philippines. And
this unfortunate event happened just yesterday. Yesterday, Sunday, during the service at the Catholic Church at a state university in the Philippines, a bomb got detonated, killing at least 3 people. While Mass was on, the responsibility for this deadly attack has been claimed by the Islamic State, that is still active. I think sometimes people forget that ISIS is still active in different parts of the world. It's not only active in the northeast where we have ISWAP, an affiliate of ISIS, but they're active in parts of Asia, and this is in Southeast Asia, in the Philippines, where they have been carrying out attacks. There have been an ongoing battle between them and the government and the people in the southern part of the Philippines. Of course, ISIS does not represent Islam. They don't represent anybody. They represent themselves. These are terrorists that have the audacity to kill men, kill women, kill children, rape pregnant women's wombs open, remove their babies, smash it. These are men that were so wicked that they would tie a man and run over him with an armor tanker, with a bulldozer. They killed so many people years back. You recall the incidents in Syria, parts of Iraq, where thousands of people were killed and people were displaced, like the Yazidis, and others were displaced from their ancestral homes. So this is a reminder to us that terrorism is real, and terrorism does not know boundaries. It is not just in Nigeria, West Africa, it is around the world. And terrorism doesn't have a religion, doesn't have a tribe. Terrorism is an evil that has come upon humanity, and we must join hands to fight terrorism until it stops.
Okay, very quickly, because we have a lot, we want to see how possible we'll be able to get some of these stories. This one has to do with a day-old baby. It says abandoned day-old baby boy rescued in Nigeria.
Yeah, that's in Abraka area of Mina in Niger State. This day-old baby was picked with the umbilical cord still attached. And that is to tell you that this baby was just given birth to and then thrown by the mother. It's really disheartening. and inconceivable how a woman can conceive and keep the baby in the womb for 9 months, and then after giving birth to the baby, throws away the baby. The baby was wrapped with leather, no clothes even on the baby. They just wrapped the baby with some leather, and the umbilical cord still attached, and blood around the baby, and ants have even started crawling, into the baby. When these good Samaritans, to use your word, good Nigerians,
yes,
when these good Nigerians found this baby in a Niger state and picked the baby, washed the baby. Investigations are ongoing to determine who the mother is, who is responsible for this crime. In fact, one of the neighbors interviewed in that neighborhood said that they should start imposing a capital punishment for girls who give birth and throw away their babies. So I think very important that we say this morning that if you don't want to keep the baby after giving birth to the baby, don't throw the baby on the street. Don't throw the baby in a dustbin. Don't throw the baby into a pit latrine or anything. There are orphanages. Give the baby. If you're afraid that you'll be arrested if you go there, you can bring the baby to, for example, a radio station and keep it in front. Maybe in the night, or take it to a church or mosque and keep the baby there. If you don't want, you can bring it to people like us who will be ready to take care of a life that God created instead of throwing the baby. And this is unfortunate. So we appeal to girls, ladies, no matter what happened, no matter how you got pregnant, you have no right to throw away the baby. You have no right to kill a baby. You have no right to commit that criminal offense. There are people who are ready to take care of this baby. Even here in the city of Jos, we have people who are taking care of 70 or more, orphans who are not their own biological children, but because of the love of God and the love of humanity. So a lesson to learn, because this happens all over the country. Please don't dump your baby after you've given birth to the baby. And indeed, if you take him by whatever means, don't commit an abortion also. Don't kill the baby. You have no right to take human life. You did not give the life, you have no right to take life.
Yes, you have no right to take it. Now, still talking on this, Prof. Now, if you don't want to keep the baby, if having gone through the period of, keeping the baby to grow and then deliver the baby, now you want to go and throw the baby. Now, if you would give it to anyone, I don't think you'll be arrested just because you decide not to keep the baby after you've delivered. I think it won't be a crime if you can just go to anyone who you feel, would want to take the baby. Just say, or anyway, I think I'll just try to you, Prof.
The ladies are afraid that they will be exposed. They don't want to be exposed, and in certain communities they are ashamed of a sort, and they're harassed, and they want to hide away from all this embarrassment. And sometimes when they actually go and say, okay, we want to give the baby to so and so, or a particular maybe organization, some people will say, you gave birth to the baby, why are you bringing the baby? Maybe let's take you to the police station, and things like that. So I think that's why they're afraid. And these fears are there. So I think we must admit that some of these fears are there by these ladies. But there is a better way to do it. You can,
like you suggested
already, wrap the baby nicely in nice clothes, keep the baby warm, and then you can keep the baby in a public place where a good Nigerian will see the baby and take care of the baby. A church is a good place. An orphanage is a good place. NGOs that deal with matters that have to do with abandoned children is a good place. Houses of religious leaders are nice places. You can keep the baby in front of a pastor's house or an imam's house. I'm sure that the baby will be adequately taken care of.
If an imam's house is so secured that the lady would not want to be there. In the first place, she would not want to, be caught into this, and so she might not know. Well, there are several ways to do. All we're saying is that you don't just want to kill the baby. So don't be there to kill the baby. That's what we're saying. If you don't want it, there are those whom are out looking for the same kind of baby.
It has happened in some places. The ladies would keep the baby maybe very early in the morning before anybody wakes up, or late at night when they notice that nobody is around, and they go and they just drop the baby in a place where they're sure somebody will hear the cry of the baby, somebody will pick the baby. They have done it successfully, and that's why I'm thinking that if you don't just want to keep the baby, it is better you keep the baby where the baby can easily be accessed. This baby that was dumped with the umbilical cord still attached and wrapped in a leather, ants were already coming, and this baby was not kept in a strategic place. If those people had not taken that street, they would not have sighted this baby kept by the bush along a path that not too many people follow. The baby would have been dead and forgotten. So that's why it is good to keep the baby in a strategic place. In fact, you can come and keep the baby in the front of an institution, for example. You're sure that somebody is going to see the baby, and somebody is going to pick that baby, and that the baby will be adequately taken care of.
So we look forward to having babies, kept in such a way that their lives, will not be tampered with. And so, thank you so much. This one, let's go to see what happens. This one says, new nuns president emerges, accuses Shirin Tinubu of interference. That is a National Association of Nigerian Students.
National Association of Nigerian Students has passed through real interesting moments in the last few years.
We're having dramas even.
There have been a lot of drama, rigmaroles, and confusion. And but I'm happy that at least NANS is still there, the National Association of Nigerian Students. They just concluded their Congress, and they have elected new officials. The current president is one Pedro Obi, and he is interestingly a postgraduate student, just like the one of 2 or so years ago. In fact, they even say he's a PhD student in Delta State University, Abraka. That is to say that postgraduate students are becoming very much involved in NANS. He said that Shirin Tinubu, the son of the president, and this is an allegation that we cannot prove, but that's what the news said, that Shirin Tinubu tried to interfere with the elections to present another candidate that is not popular with the students, and that he even brought security personnel to the venue of their conference in Abuja, and tried to disrupt the elections. But according to Obi, the new president, that thankfully the students stood their ground and ensured that the popular candidates were elected. But I want to say that why is the government interested in NANS? It is because NANS has a lot of followership across the country. These students can ground the economy. These students can cause chaos across the nation. That is why you see that the government will be interested in who their leaders are. If they can have leaders that would not go against the policies of the government, that can easily be pampered, that can be controlled easily, the government would like it because our governments unfortunately don't like opposition. They like yes men around them. People will say you're doing very well. We hope that Pedro Obi will be an outstanding leader as the president of NANS, that he will speak truth to power, and that he will stand for the interest and the welfare of Nigerian students. And enough of dining with politicians. NANS needs to really rise up and become the NANS we used to know in the 70s and the 80s and early 90s, that stood and spoke truth to power, to those in power, and defended the interest of students. In recent years, there has been too much of dining with politicians, and NANS has not been as effective as it should be. We hope that things will improve.
Yes, another sad one, Prof, for this time, and let's just, we may be concluding on it. Three traditional rulers in the Orire local government area of Oyo State lost their lives in a road crash at Arin King area of Ogumosho on Friday.
Three traditional rulers lost their lives Friday evening. It's a tragedy, a big tragedy. The loss of one traditional ruler is enough of a tragedy. Took less of three in Orire, in Oyo State. This accident took place around Ogumosho. They were actually going for a funeral service. The funeral service of the aged mother of another Oba. When this accident occurred, the three traditional rulers, what we gathered from the story is that they were in the same vehicle, probably their friends, and they just wanted to be together. And when they ran into a truck, unfortunately, one of them died on the spot. The other two were later confirmed dead when they arrived at the teaching hospital of Ladoke University of Technology. Now, this is a call to our drivers who ply our roads and highways. Death can happen to anybody.
Yes.
And the death of one Nigerian is a tragedy. Whether he's an ordinary citizen or, as in this case, traditional rulers, monarchs. You can imagine what is happening in their domains. These are monarchs, and they have subjects that are loyal to them. You can imagine what is happening in the domains of these three Obas that unfortunately lost their lives. There are several contributory factors to accidents on Nigerian roads. Bad roads is a major contributing factor. And you see some of these trucks that ply the roads, they can just park carelessly anywhere. Sometimes you see them driving against traffic. And you see them doing dangerous overtaking and all manner of things. Because they're big trucks and they feel whatever happens, they will not be affected. Unfortunately, we don't have the details of what exactly happened that led to this accident. All we know is that these three traditional rulers died, and that the accident involved their vehicle and a truck around Ogumosho area of Oyo State. And we want to commiserate with the families of these traditional rulers, and we want to commiserate with the citizens of these three different domains in Oyo State, and we want to say may their souls rest in peace, and we want to pray that God will avert this kind of tragedies, especially during this Yuletide, this festive season when there are so many accidents on our highways.
Oh, thank you, Prof. For this point, we would like to have your opinion as regards what this festive period has come on with. You are likely to have some sounds, funny sounds that you hardly be able to differentiate if it's that of a gunshot, but just so to give some signs that it is that we have been having. Recently, before last 2 years, I know it was like a rule or law that you don't get to use that explosion, but somehow that is ruled out now. And your opinion, not, I'm sure you will not say there should be a stop to that, because the moment we say there should be a law that people should not use that, the more we would have, people getting to do it.
Could be the law, as far as I know, is still subsisting. It's actually nationwide. These knockouts, I've been hearing them for the past few days. These knockouts are not good for security. Those of us who are laymen when it comes to the sound of guns and bombs and other explosives cannot differentiate the sound of a gun from a knockout or other explosives. And these young people keep throwing knockouts in the name of celebration. Now, you can imagine when the knockouts are exploding in the air, and at the same time, armed robbers are raiding the community,
Mm-hmm.
how do you differentiate whether it's the knockout or is the gunshot from the armed robbers? In the midst of that commotion, criminals will seize the opportunity to invade the community and carry out their nefarious acts. And you kidnappers are everywhere now. All manner of criminals and bandits. And they are throwing knockouts. There is a better way to celebrate. You have to make so much noise to celebrate. Some of the elders in these communities have high blood pressure. And people who are hypertensive react to these loud sounds, can agitate and exacerbate their high blood pressure. And before you know, the high blood pressure will rise. So my advice to our young people is, please, you can celebrate, but you don't have to use a knockout to celebrate.
Okay.
And you know, sometimes they throw these knockouts into people's houses.
Yes.
You know, I've stayed in one part of Jos where they can just take the knockout and throw it into your house, and it just explodes. And this is not good. It's dangerous because the knockout is an explosive, and it can cause injury. Because I have seen it firsthand, where some people carry this knockout, put it inside a bottle, and they throw it. Or they put it in a bottle and they run away, and they were not fast enough, it explodes, and the bottle scatters, the pieces of the bottle sound like shrapnels, and invasive, enter the skin and injure people. So there is a way to celebrate. You can celebrate, you can dance. Nothing bad.
You can dance. December 1st.
And you can enjoy all the music and with friends and family.
All right.
But you don't need to throw knockouts. You can put beautiful lights. You can put candles. You can do so many other things. But using explosives is not a good idea.
Okay. Because
it is counterproductive when it comes to security. It is a security risk in the community. You will not be able to differentiate the sound of this explosive celebration and that of criminals who have invaded the community to carry out crime.
Thank you very much. I tried to chat the PPRO. He's yet to reply. I wanted him to also be on air so that we'll get to hear about this. And as soon as he reply my chats, we'll see how we'll talk about this from the authority concerned, whom, of course, are saddled with the responsibility of making sure they tell us if, of course, something has to be done. And so, Prof, that's much we can take on this segment.
Thank you.
It's good to have you. Our viewer and our listener, thank you so much for being there. Please don't go nowhere. We'll be right back after this short time out.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer mansion? How was your
Unity. Unity TV. Get ready to be entertained and inspired by the incredible stories around the globe. Don't miss out on the excitement. Hello at Work is an ultimate TV program that brings to you the interesting stories and daily happenings worldwide. Join us Mondays and Thursdays 10 a.m. as we dive into the daily happenings and stories. Tune in and stay. Say hello to the world as you bring in your ideas, as it is a perfect blend of entertainment and information. Get ready to stay up to date while being entertained.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer, Mr. Politician?
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here in the studio of Unity 93.3 FM. This is a lovely Monday morning, and so we are beginning the edition of Unity Trend this week. This is the first edition for this week, and mind you, is 4th December 2023, and of course December shouldn't be the one to remind you that it's the last month of the year, and so a lot of things are going on, and people trying to see how they will get to achieve their goals and keep to their promises, even as they made it from the very first month of the year. Even as you do everything possible to make sure that you get to achieve your goals and keep to your promises, and now that it's the last month, you cannot kill yourself. If you really, the reality is that you can make it, then just pray that God will give you another year. And what is important is that you are alive, and then you give it all to God for keeping you alive. And so I'm so happy to be here again and again. And remember, my name remains Beatrice Adamo EG, but you can call me Kobe and I'll be just fine. In the studio this morning, I have a very, very big surprise for my listener and my viewer this morning. It's someone you can't wait to hear the name, but before then, anyway, in case you want to promote your goods and services on our platform, we have our TV arm with which you can get to have massive patronage if you would want to promote your goods and services. And so do well to contact marketing department of Unity 93.3 FM, or better still, you just call 0808-478-9999, just so we get to know what exactly you want us to do for you, so that we can make your business, robust and in a time as this. Thank you so much for staying tuned. Today, for anything at all in this life to happen, there has to be a budget. You need to know what you have. You make the deliberate plan in order to get things working. And so Nigeria as a country, we have been having budgets for every year. And so also we have just received signs of a budget for 2024, yes. And so, will this budget be good enough? Is it going to give hope to Nigerians? Is it anything to write home about? Is it anything to identify with? And now the Nigerians are looking forward to, having, to cushion the effects of economic realities at the moment. Will this budget go a long way to help in any of this? And this is what we'll be looking at. And so we have it as a topic, Budget 2024. Can the hope of Nigerians be renewed? And in the studio this morning, I have Dr. Isa Abdullahi. He is an in-house analyst, someone whom has been away for quite some time. And I know a regular listener will be very happy having Dr. Isa in the studio this morning. I'll let him say a very big good morning. And of course, maybe apologize for not being on air or Unity Trend, but I do apologize on his behalf. After all, it's not his making. Thank you, Dr. Isa. It's good to have you.
Could be good morning, our viewers and listeners up there. And could be it's a long time we've not. It's quite a long time.
Yes,
we've not been together. And sorry to say, on a sad note also, that is the demise. I want to extend my condolence to the national leader, Councillor Foloma Jamachis Alitabidia, Sheikh Sani Hayajingir, over the demise of the state chairman in Kaduna State, that is Sheikh Bello Adam Saminaka. He's just died on Friday, and also today, 4th of December, is the 1-year memorial of the late ambassador of Nigeria to Niger. I condole with the family of Raja Kaunamata, that is Ambassador Rabiu Akau, who died 1 year ago. Today, they are marking the 1-year ceremony and prayers. So on a very sad note for that matter. Also, my regards with somebody who has been, his heart has been with the Unity FM, with the people of Jos, always and always. Alhaji Sadiq Abubakar Sadiq Al-Juma, aka Sadiq Plaza, who has been away for a long time, and then all those people who take care of people of Jos and their environment and Plateau State as well. Could be. We're talking of budget.
Yes, we're talking issues of budget this morning. Before we roll out into that, I would love to say very quickly, since you've mentioned the name of this philanthropist, Alhaji Sadiq.
Abubakar Sadiq Shaibu, aka Sadiq Plaza.
Sadiq Plaza. You know, when you say Sadiq Plaza, a lot of people just
well, you understand, yeah.
Yes, there is this, when I went to cover an issue at Kone Shagari, there's a broken bridge there for like 4 to 5 years. There was a heavy downpour, and so it broke the bridge.
Wow.
So just this rainy season, we the community lost about 2 to 3 children there, an adult involved, and about 4 people, I think they said. And so I just want to say a thank you to Alhaji Sadiq Plaza for he in the recent time he sent delegations to get to look at to estimate, you know, and get to see if it's something anytime soon the bridge will be fixed. And so the people are still calling, yes, and still praying that God will open doors for Sadiq Plaza to be able to
build the bridge. And then we're calling on also all well-meaning people for the state,
not
and,
only
even
government,
you know,
of course.
If the government cannot do, but philanthropists, well-wishers, you know, people who are well-to-do, and then who have the mind also at the moment, please, they should come to the rescue of the people, the local people.
Yes, of course. Again, very briefly, I was at Nomadic Primary School, Dogondaji, in Basa local government. The whole people were like, please extend our regards to Dr. Isa Abdullahi. He's been away for quite some time. Okay, they don't have chairs in the primary school.
Wow.
I have footages. I went there with camera and I covered everything. You could see the lineup stones. You can imagine pupils. Children will have to sit on the floor.
That's the typical
and all the
feature.
floors are not even, they're not made. It's just dust.
Could be. There are schools here in Jos, we call them Shakura. Even in Mongo, in our local dialect, they say Wet Buruk. That's the Shakura also.
Yes.
The translation in Hausa, in Mogafon language, is Wet Buruk, the dusty school.
Okay.
That's the government school, yeah.
Okay, there you go. Say
Wet Buruk, yeah.
All right, we're talking budget today. So some of these things we're talking, budget ordinarily is supposed to handle some of these things, to give hope to the nomadic primary school students. Is there any sign? Is there any signs of hope? Is there any sign of hope that the budget will even get to have chairs for them in the school?
Could be.
All right, let's begin. Doctor, I give it to you.
All right, could be. You know, the issue of budget has been something that Nigerians have just been hearing it like a mirage. Every day you mention budget and it comes, it goes out, and without seeing anything tangible on the ground. And we keep on repeating it. Maybe as we say it today, tomorrow the people will get to know the budget, and the government in itself will get to know the rudiments and importance of the budget. But as it is for now, we are still having a long way to go. When we talk of a budget, could be, we are looking at estimates, assumptions. They are all based on assumptions. We believe that there are certain things that will come up. For instance, now, the basic assumptions of the budget 2024 that was just presented to the National Assembly was that we are going to have a GDP growth of Nigeria at 3.7. That's the rate at which the economic activities of Nigeria will be growing in 2024 should be 3.7. Which assumption? If that happens, that's a very good one to say. But with reality, what we have today, as it is now in the second quarter of this year, second quarter of this year, we had about 2.5% growth of the budget. That is to say, to have 3.7, we have a long way to go. We also have the estimate of Naira exchange rate to dollar at the rate of 750. As it is now, is close to 1,000, if not 1,000 Naira to $1. So we hope if it goes to 750, we are likely to have better days. And we also have the oil price. That the price of oil determines the budget. Yeah, the factor that the Nigerian budget will either succeed or not. So as the oil sells today, it sells at slightly above $90 to 1 barrel. But then we have made a very important estimate of $77.96 to a barrel. Which, if we have excess, if the oil continues to be sold at the rate of $90, $100 to 1 barrel, then we are likely to have more money in our foreign reserve. We will save more money against any vigorous and international fluctuations of prices. Also, the inflation rate. The inflation rate is assumed to be at the rate of 21.4% for the budget, and as it is today, we are having about 28% as inflation, as according to the National Bureau of Statistics. Also, we have also oil production. The oil production, the amount of oil we produce in Nigeria. The Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries has allowed Nigeria to export about 2 million barrels of oil daily, but because of our own activities, actions and inactions, we are not able to meet up that quota. For about 10 years, we haven't been meeting the quotas now. So we are estimating that we can produce at least 1.78 million barrels of oil every day. So these are the basic assumptions. And the major component of the budget is the estimate. That is 27.5 trillion naira, the highest of such kind of a budget we ever had in Nigeria. But then, could be, as you have asked, let me just say this. The estimate is 18.5% of it goes to recurrent expenditure. Could be, what is recurrent expenditure? The recurrent expenditure is the normal expenses of the government day in, day out, every day. Taking the chunk amount of money of over 18 trillion naira. That's to say it has consumed over 66.67% of the total budget. 66.6% of the total budget goes to the expenses of today and tomorrow. What are the basic components there? Payments of salaries of workers, payment of allowances, payments of bonuses, payments of transportation, buying of fuel and utilities of vehicles, buying of payment of electricity bills, and so on and so forth. All these things that will just be consumed with no element of productivity. That is what we call recurrent expenditure, and it is unfortunate that we have such kind of a budget that 66.67% of the total income for the budget, estimate of the budget, goes to that amount of money. And my worry is that we have been having such kind of a budget, even when the total estimate of the Nigerian budget was around 3 trillion. We used to say we have 60% of it goes to recurrent. But now when it is 27, the component of the recurrent expenditure should have gone lower. Recurrent should have been at the rate of let's say about 30%, or let's say about 40%. If it's 40% of the total budget, we could have about like to say about 10 trillion naira as the total expenditure for the recurrent expenditure, and that also is a very huge amount of money. But then we are having more than half. I'm worried. What things are comprising to making the recurrent expenditure more expensive with days? In fact, the recurrent expenditure of what we are having in the budget today is more than about 2 to 3 times former budgets of Nigeria 3-4 years back. It's like you multiply the total budget of Nigeria like 2-3 times before you get the recurrent expenditure of what we have estimated in this budget. Then the next item is the capital expenditure. The capital expenditure is about 8 trillion naira. Okay. The 8 trillion naira is what we will use for provision of infrastructure in Nigeria, electricity, road constructions, hospitals, building of schools and whatnot. So this is what we call the capital expenditure for the national development and buildings. And we have about when we go to sectoral allocations, we realize that defense has taken the highest amount of allocation. About 3.3 trillion naira goes to purchase of ammunition, firearms, and equipment, all the hardwares, military hardwares and softwares to fight the insurgency and insecurity in Nigeria. For the past 10 years, security has been taking the highest share of our budget allocation in Nigeria, and unfortunately, up to now, we have, although we can see some elements of reduction in the insurgency, but then up to now there are a lot of communities in Nigeria that cannot sleep in their houses. A lot of them, in fact, I was hearing some news from people of Zamfara State that in some of their localities they used to climb the tree to sleep there. Some of them will go to the nearby towns and cities to sleep, and then when the daytime they come into their own cities because bandits have stopped them. They have been collecting revenues from them. For you to plant in your own farm, you need to pay them tax. For you to cultivate, you need to pay tax. For you to harvest, you need to pay tax. For you to live in the community, you have to pay them taxes. And when it comes to agricultural farming, the bandits will have their own big farms. They will come and
get the people.
Yeah, get the people, coerce you forcefully to go and work for them in their farms. If you don't do that, they will destroy you. And these are some of the elements of insecurity we're having. The next item on the budget is the educational sector. The educational sector, unfortunately, has 2.2 trillion naira. Could be. That boggles me. We've been having, problems with the academics in Nigeria. Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, and among the major grievances of ASU with the government is the low allocation to educational sector of Nigeria. As it is today, 2.2 trillion naira is about 6% to 7% of the total budget. You get me, Kuli? Okay. It's just a very, very small amount of money. But United Nations International, UNESCO, United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, is saying that the minimum amount of allocation you can allocate to educational sector to develop, most especially in underdeveloped countries like Nigeria, you allocate about 26% of the total budget to education, and you also allocate about 25% of the total budget to health sector. If you are to allocate 26% of the total budget to education in Nigeria, we need like 8 trillion naira. We need like about 6 trillion naira for us to be there. But then we are having this trouble, could be. We're having this trouble, and on the budget could be. There are about two major things which the leaders of the National Assembly made mention, which I concur also. The Senate President, that is Godswill Akpabio, was quoted to have said that previous budgets have not been meeting up to the yearnings and aspirations of Nigerians. That's what Godswill Akpabio mentioned as President Tinubu presented the budget to him in the National Assembly. I also want to concur with this. There are a lot of allocations, a lot of statements, a lot of assumptions in previous governments, but have we been seeing the realities being done? Could be what also Abbas also, the Speaker House of Representatives, said also, budgets in Nigeria have not been properly implemented for a long period of time. And he said number one of the problems is the poor, assumptions of the budget. Planning and assumptions of the budgets are usually not in tandem with what are obtained in realities. Therefore, we have a problem with that. Secondly, there is poor implementation. Most of these budgets, when you implement them, you realize that there are a lot of escapes here and there are a lot of excuses here and there. Sometimes you repeat one particular item in the budget 3-4 times, and people don't even go there to find out why is it that this thing is not done, despite the fact it's being allocated severally. Yeah. And we don't account to the government are not accountable to all of us. And lastly but not the least, about what Abbas, Speaker House of Representatives, was saying is that there is poor oversight function when the budgets are being done. Committees at the National Assembly are supposed to go around. In fact, let me add this: it's not only the committees of the National Assemblies that are supposed to give oversight function. Okay. We need to have a system, our own local system. That's why I'm sometimes, in support of what Obasanjo said sometimes, that we need to have a local content to the democracy we are practicing. Okay. We cannot just copy democracy exactly from what Europe is doing.
And then
our culture,
we paste it here.
Yeah, our development level, our psyche, our realities on ground, our historical background and culture are not the same with the Europe.
It can be.
They are not the same with the Europeans. You get me? It's not the same with the. Neither is it the same with the Americans. We need to develop a traditional culture to add and build it on our democracy so that we can have a sanity in what we are doing. Can we have a situation whereby we can have local development associations comprising of NGOs, comprising of media people, comprising of lawyers in our local communities, comprising of academics in our local communities, comprising of journalists in our local communities, comprising of religious leaders and traditional rulers in our communities, comprising of our youth leaders, that assuming an allocation has been given, for instance, now the Jos Inland Container in Haipang, if it's been allocated a particular amount of money for it to be executed, then that community of a team of people, you understand, should be given the mandate constitutionally to oversee the function of what is happening. I don't know whether we're making sense.
Yes.
So at least the people there are also involved in the implementation of such kind of a budget, so that whatever is happening to the budget at the national level, they have the capacity and the ability constitutionally to go and find out what is happening. And then as the amount of money being disbursed for the implementation of those kind of contracts, they should be part and parcel of the implementation, seeing to contractor implementing it at what level, and then if it stops, they will get to find out what is happening to the project, let them complete it. For instance, we have a local project in Mango local government, in my local community there in Langai, close to Jindri. It's a very gigantic water project, gigantic one for that matter, which was appropriated in previous budgets during Obasanjo time when Mantu was the deputy speaker, deputy senate president. But up to now, that project has not been completed. Sometimes it goes back, it comes in, sometimes as if it would not go. So if you can have local content to what you are doing, I think it will help.
Doctor, don't you think this will also bring about spending too much just so to have things work in this country? Having this team, and then these are people who will not work for just nothing. They too would have to.
But could be my trouble is, without them, has it been working?
Okay, it's better we spend much to work with them.
You understand? You see, I'm always an advocate. That's why I say we should have our local content. We should look at it the way we can. You see, our major problem in Africa and third world countries is poverty. You understand? A lot of people are that too poor. The institutions are very weak. Just like this morning, as I was listening to one of the international news, they are saying the National Assembly is saying that they have passed a bill that any state a state that does not have elected local government chairman, the salaries and all the allocations to local government should be held. They should be, they shouldn't release their disbursement, because constitutionally there is no provision for appointees in the local government, administration. Constitutionally, there is no provision for that. So the failure, and most of those people contributing to that budget, to that discussion was, they were saying that the failure of the local government is as a result of the hijacking of the revenue by the state governors, and then the outright, confiscation of the accounts of the local government by the states, so that nothing will be disbursed to the local government except what the state governor decides. And then the state assembly is also being pocketed by the state governor. Therefore, anything that will make local government to be autonomous, state governors don't like it. So they have to force that on state governors. If you don't do that, you will never have sanity with the local governments. And without sanity in the local government, without development at the local level, if these local governments cannot construct, just the little bridges you are talking of now in Pana and Shagari, there are things that should be ordinarily done by the local government authorities if they have the enough of money to do that. Just a bridge for you to cross one place to the other, the local government should be able to do that. If an individual can do it, what more of a local government, an authority of a government with allocations of money, hundreds of millions of naira coming to them? Can they not do that in 2, 3, 4 years? Can't they do that? So if they have those monies, they should do that. The culverts in our streets, local roads, feeder roads, they should do that. All our primary healthcare hospitals, they should be upgraded, and they should be elevated to maybe a status of even a cottage hospital by the local government authorities, assuming these local governments are being given autonomy. So if we don't want to spend, for that. You know, what I've been advocating as part of things we should add to our democracy, the local content. We don't just copy exactly, because our people are not the same with the Europeans.
Yeah.
Europeans have a developed mind. Already? They have a stable mind. Already? They have national unity. They have national cohesion. They have national stability. They have national consciousness. You know, they have long history of the democracy. But in our situation, and they have enough money at their disposal. They have enough wages and salaries. They have large amount of money to spend in their own country, while in our own country is not. So if you keep somebody, traditional ruler in a community, with no single 1 naira budget, yet he is a government appointee. You have Me Angwa with no 1 kobo, no single budget. The only thing is that he will sell plots of land of people and then consume the money. You understand? Every day in court, they will be fighting with agents and so on and so forth. But how can you do something within your local content to get him something doing so that he will be functional in the society? For instance, now, assuming this budget allocation I'm talking of, if you refuse to send, maybe assuming if you budget 1 billion naira, 30% of 1 billion naira is around 300 million naira. Maybe let's set aside, even if it's 20% of the budget, of that allocation for the amount of the project, okay, allocate it to these individuals, the local chiefs, the local pastors and imams, the people that will be overseeing, overseeing the activities, give them that little amount of money out of the percentage. Then 80% of the money, use it for the project. I think it is wiser than allowing the 100% of it to be taken away by somebody without even knowing where it goes. You keep on allocating. You allocate several times without even being implemented. So it's better to even make it constitutional. Give them 20% so that they can spend 80%, use it in the implementation of the budget. I think it will be much better for us. Because if we continue to be living in a fool's paradise, we are living in fool's paradise. We believe there is no corruption in Nigeria, while corruption is even legitimized in Nigeria. It's being constitutionalized in the country. Ordinarily, it's like being legalized. People are doing it with no even disdain. They don't have a regret of it. So why can we not fashion something out so that it will reduce the amount of poverty at the local level, and at the same time we'll see the implementation of our own projects.
Okay, thank you very much, Doctor. At this point, it's been lovely already, and the rest 30 minutes ahead, I'm sure it's going to be superb again.
All right,
our viewer and our listener, it's time for us to go on a short break. We'll be coming back. Dr. Isa remains in the studio. You may want to ask some questions after now, so stay tuned.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer mansion? How was your...
The Financial Services Regulation Coordinating Committee, FSRCC, in collaboration with the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, wishes to draw the attention of the public to the worrisome increase in the activities of illegal financial operators, IFOs, which threaten public trust and the stability of the Nigerian financial system. The FSRCC and NBC hereby advises the general public to refrain from dealing with unlicensed financial operators who deceive individuals with unrealistically high investment returns. Make sure to verify the licensing status of such companies and schemes on this website. To report any suspicions of illicit financial activities, call 0700 225 5226, 0800 225 5226, or +234 817 665 6273. Let's work together to uphold the integrity of Nigeria's financial system. Announcer, FSRCC.
Please pay attention. It starts from the foundation. Everybody needs somebody. You turn a blind eye and care nothing less. Say it's just business, all about the money. You are so unbothered as long as they pay. Say it's just business, all about the money. You know they're on a fast lane, but you've got business to run. So you look away the other way. Concern
Are you bored and need some company? Get a TV experience like no other on Unity TV. We are turning up the hits with captivating TV shows, electrifying political programs, music, movies, and lots more that will leave you craving. I'm sure you want to know more. Tune in to Unity TV today and let the excitement take over.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead.
So much for staying tuned. If you permit me, I will say welcome back. And Beatrice Adomui, she remains my name, but just call me Kobe. I'll be just fine. This lovely Monday morning is 4th December 2023, and we're reaching you live from the city of Jos. To be precise, the hills of ZINARIYA in Jos, Plateau State, Nigeria, the home of peace and tourism. And very quickly, we've been talking about budget 2024 budget. Can the hope of Nigerians be renewed is the answer that the topic carries. And I will want my guest in the studio this morning to now give us the answer. Can the hope of Nigerians be renewed? Is your hope renewed with the issue of 2024 budget? And in the studio, it's been Dr. Isa Abdullahi. He's an expert when it comes to do with economy, and so I'll let him say something. Just buy into your time, maybe 5 minutes or thereabout. After which we'll put on the studio line so that you can call and let's hear from you too. The studio line remains 070-3235-3315, and for SMS you may want to begin to send that already, 0808-478-9999. And for YouTube, you go Unity FM TV, Unity FM TV to be with us live on YouTube. And on Facebook, you just go Unity Radio FM/TV Jos on Facebook. You can also be with us on TV, TVM. All right, Doctor.
Could be.
Mine.
You know that.
I know. With this conversation,
yeah.
I just couldn't get to wait to get to hear from you.
Okay.
All of this that you've been saying. Is there any hope at all for Nigerians? Because we just want to see something happening very, very quickly.
Yeah.
The hardship is so much so that I feel, it's my position anyway, that we are not just being poor, we are made poor. We are impoverished. That we don't even long to want to develop things, to participate in the industry of innovating things. Now, what we think more as Nigerians is to get food, because food is what we need. We don't even think yet. Not all of us are thinking on how to innovate, to bring in things to participate in that, but just to get food. We are being made poor. So with this budget, sir,
could be. You see, we go back to the mantra of Tinubu administration. Renewed hope. That's the mantra.
Sure.
Campaign, so I think that takes me back to the campaign electioneering.
Yes, era then.
People were saying that the APC government made people to lose hope, and therefore you need to renew the hope. Those were the things being said against President Bola Tinubu then he was campaigning. Yes. And could be, if I should cast my mind back, when Buhari came in, in fact, there was no government that people were more hopeful to have a better government than Buhari's government. Almost those who elected and those who didn't even elect Buhari were having the hope that they would be a better Nigeria.
Yes.
Nigeria could be much better in the hands of Buhari. But then it was quite unfortunate that the kind of government we had was a very terrible one then. And we had the APC government then. When it came, a lot of economic variables kept on becoming negative. For instance, we had 2015, when Buhari came in, the price of one bag of rice, the Thailand rice, used to be around 8,500 to 10,000 naira. Before Buhari left, it was around I think 36,000 or thereabout.
From
From 7 to 8,000 naira. Then the same thing was the oil prices. Prices Buhari made at the rate of 87 naira to 1 liter. Before he left, it was 165, and so many other things like that. 1 mudu of sugar then was about 80 naira or 180 naira. Before he left, it was around 600-700 naira per 1 mudu. And these are the things that were very tough and difficult for Nigerians. And to renew the hope now,
yes,
it's like those things were not favorable. We need to make it better. We need to have Nigerians that even when things are not going well today, we have the belief that in the nearest future it will be better.
Oh, great.
That is a renewed hope.
Yes.
That is what we are supposed to have as a renewed hope. But Kulbi, let me come down this way. Assuming now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu came into power May 29, 2023.
Yes.
Just at the inaugural speech, he made mention that the era of oil subsidy is gone. And I strongly believe Nigerians are very resilient people. They are people who absorb shocks, no matter how large it is. Nigerians have the capability to persevere in whatever kind of a situation is. But look at the history of increases in the prices of oil in Nigeria. Almost every day, when the price of oil will be increased in Nigeria, they will say, we want to provide infrastructure for you. We want to build more schools for you. We want you to have more water. But then, prices of oil have been increased more than 20 times from 1970 to date. Have we solved the problem of electricity? Have we solved the problem of food? Have we solved the problem of schools? We are just mentioning, you went to just nearby village in a local government where the school there, we have no even, the little desks and chairs there to sit for the students. Not even the floor being, plastered, not a plastered floor.
Yes.
Not a floor that you
Windows are not fixed.
Windows are not there. Sometimes when it rains now, the people have to rush to another place to at least be there before they come back later. So these are the things we still have in Nigeria. Then can we still have the hope under this situation?
Please.
So my hope is that if our government in power will continue to say that we will spend excessive amount of our money to buy expensive vehicles, exotic cars of international fashions. Just this morning there is a debate now that Minister of FCT, somebody I cherish, I commend seriously, Nyesom Wike. I was in Abuja some 2-3 weeks back. I can see the kind of constructions Wike is doing, which is so much commendable. Assuming Wike is everywhere in Nigeria, I believe strongly there will be a change.
Okay.
But it's there in Abuja. Yeah, he has been fixing, repairing here and there, new constructions here and there. You see everything, booming, going everywhere in FCT today. But then there is a controversial issue he came up with, and he presented to the National Assembly during the budget presentation, that he is going to build a new house for the vice president at the rate of 14 billion naira. You understand? And this generated a lot of debate from NGOs, civil liberty organizations, a lot of oppositions and so on. Under this chaotic situation, a condition in which we have large number of people who have no food to eat, amount being increased as school fees in our tertiary institutions now. A lot of parents, in fact, as survey from ASU is saying that about 20 to 30% of Nigerian students may soon drop out of schools because of the increases in the school fees. So if you can do that, assuming you want to do that for the vice president, can we look into the critical sectors of education? Can we offer scholarship for the indigents, those who cannot afford to pay the scholarship with the school fees? Can we even fund more the university? Can we send the money more to the universities so that the children of the poor, because Nigerian universities are the poor, are for the children of the poor. The children of the those who have money are not in the Nigerian universities. They are going outside. They don't stay in Nigeria. So it's for the children of the poor. Can we have more money? Instead of giving more allocations for purchases of expensive cars, for purchases of the more you develop education, the less you have crime. The more you give people knowledge, the less you have criminalities in your society. The less you spend in allocation to defense. The more you give people food, the more people have enough food to eat, the more reduction in insurgency, the more solution to your problems. The more you have the more reduction in criminalities, the more the better is the society. And the more you construct roads, the more economic activities are coming up. The more you give people businesses, you give them skills, you give them training, you support them to market their products and then send it outside the country. The more you articulate the government policy, the more you make people come close to you, give you advice so that you take it as an input to make decision in the government, the better the government is, and the more hope the people will have in you. But so long as a government will be taking unilateral decisions in such a situation whereby people are completely out of the decision making, they are not, their inputs are not even required, and the decisions are not in tandem of reality of what they see on ground, then the more we lose the hope. If we want to have more hope, let's have a government of inclusivity, a government of listening to the earnings of the people, government that takes its own decision from the feelings of the people. Then we can have more hope in the government.
All right, let's hear what a listener and our viewer would have to tell us. In case you're there, now it's time for you to begin to call. We are ready to begin picking your calls. Read your comments on Facebook and also SMS. And so 070-3235-3315. If you call your name and locations, you go on in a minute. Let's have what you have for us this morning. And in the studio, mind you, is Dr. Isa Abdullahi. He's been away for quite some time, and this day he has showed up, and I'm particularly very happy to hear from him and to be with him in the studio, and I'm sure the same with you. And so there is no need to render defamatory or any of such comments, and comments made on these platforms and not the position of Unity FM. And so stick to the rules. Peaceful coexistence.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, thank you very much. My name is Sadiq Umar. I'm calling from Shirin.
You have a minute, Sadiq Umar. Good to have you. Go on, please.
Yeah, I will comment your guest. Yeah, it's different of more about the project of the team.
Okay.
Actually, very, very unfortunate that every day in Nigeria we are having project. But the foreman at the grassroots do not know what this project is all about. When you see, when we are having this kind of project, it's very, very unfortunate. As they just have specific disadvantage and different treatment. When you find out what is the changes, you see, especially in this specific administration, this from the coming of President Muhammad Buhari. I think that is the hope of the people. I think there is no any person that have that like
all right.
Support President Muhammad Buhari.
Yes.
But you see, the kind of disappointment Nigeria received by the administration is very, very unfortunate.
Your time.
How this administration is coming with the renewed hope, with the kind of budget that they are coming. We are losing hope in this budget. No budget that we are saying that we are giving hope.
Thank you.
How is it going to start the masses?
Thank you, Sadiq Umar.
Correct sector is one taking the highest percentage of the budget, which is not supposed to be. If it's only that this present administration are ready to change, I think they have to change their strategy. We have talked about insecurity. Now let's look at insecurity in Nigeria. With this kind of movement in the previous administration, we have seen this kind of money that they are spent to buying Tucano and other weapons for the army. But what are they doing with it? We have seen this
thank you, Sadiq Umar.
Going on. So the government needs to bring a new strategy. We have to spread the locality. That is why when state are agitated for local police and other things. But this budget,
Sadiq Umar, thank you very much.
How to make sure that it will be implemented.
All right, truly apologize. Very wonderful submission there by Sadiq Umar. It's just because of the time, and so please, you may need to stick to 1 minute. We wish that we have all the time so that we can have those of your wonderful submissions. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Kudu.
Thank you very much. Adewumi, I want to believe.
Yes, sir.
Please go on in a minute.
And the guests in the studio.
Thank you. Go on.
Thank you very much. You see, my thought this morning on this 2024 budget. You see, Nigerians will request for money. honestly speaking, if you can meet all the basic amenities of Nigerians and put an end to the issue of insecurity in this nation, Nigerians don't always like to complain. Because you can just make Nigeria to be happy, and they will appreciate your effort.
All right.
Honestly speaking, our government needs to see more. Other than using money, going to borrow money to budget, I think it's high time that we make our own internal development. That will even make us to budget on our own, but looking for money to finance without using the sort of governance. I think it's something that is uncalled for. For the major thing I want to say to finalize this because of time, is that we need an immediate solution to put an end to this subsidy removal.
All right.
Nigerians are really passing through a lot. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Adeomi. And this one is saying, good morning, Kobe, and the prof in the studio. I'm watching you live from Rika's new layout. Please, I'm not hearing the voice of Shabu Doro. Hope he is doing well. My regards to him. Thank you. Doro is doing well. And hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Uncle.
Thank you very much, Yakubu.
And this is Yusuf Abdul conductor of the Guabubu.
Okay, it's good to have you, please.
Okay, sir, good morning.
Hello, good morning. Thank you.
You have made up my day today.
All right, you're welcome. In a minute, please.
Thanks.
Concerning the budget, if the government can cut the cost of governance, because if you can see now, the federal government have given delegations to Dubai. Over 1,000 people have gone to Dubai for a program. That money can be used to create more empowerment for the youth, more security for the nation. As you can see now, people are afraid, as the doctor has said. Some people are sleeping under the tree in the village. Some people cannot even go to their farm. Some people cannot even go to their market. So that money that they use to transport people from here to Dubai, over 1,000 people, can be used to channel into security. Because the security are overwhelmed and they need more manpower.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, that's much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's good to hear from you. This one is calling. It's a Unity Trend. Wish you all the best. And it's from Bashir Muhammad. And another one saying, Abba Farisa, say Unity FM Radio TV. Good morning. Good morning to you too. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Uncle D.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, and the guest in the studio, Musa Kano, calling you from Olbudi.
It's good to have you, sir. Go on in a minute.
Thank you. You see, Nigeria, my advice to us, if we need change, we should change for change. The leaders should change, the followers should change.
All right.
Let me tell you, my brother, there's nothing wrong with Nigeria.
Okay.
Our attitude is the greatest problem we are having in this country. If you cannot, do you lead a nation without having a national policy? You see what the text is saying. If you have a national policy that anybody has to come and follow, irrespective of political affiliation, will Ajakuta Tiroli be abandoned there? Will Mobula Plateau, will the electrification issue be abandoned there? So these are the critical issues we should be talking about. You have a country where you do to assist and who not to assist. Let's start asking ourselves, who is a Nigerian and where is Nigeria? And I have a question to the guest.
All right.
Of this issue of budget.
Go on.
You see, I heard that our governor of Plateau State has presented the budget and it has been passed within 3 days. Is it proper for any ministry, workers in the ministry, not to come to defend their budget before being passed by this House of Assembly members? Thank you.
Thank you very much. This one is from Muhammad Tajani saying, good morning, gentlemen. I'm very happy and excited to hear the voice of Dr. Isa Abdullahi again, and I hope we will have you available for some time. Muhammad Tajuddin from Naragoda. Yes.
Nice
Doctor, you need to answer this.
Thank you very much.
Tajuddin wants to have more of you in here. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Colby. Good morning, Doctor.
All right, thank you. It's good to have you. Your name and location, please.
Yes, it's Musali calling from Nekozaria Road.
How is Nomadic Primary School?
Nomadic Primary School, we are just
being patient and, they say the patient don't eat the fattest bone. We are yet to see the fattest bone.
I look forward for you having a fattest bone. Please go on in a minute with your submission.
Their exam today. They are sitting on the ground. There's no floor, no shade, nothing.
Okay, your submission on the other end.
Yes. So my contribution here, honestly speaking, the doctor has spoken very well.
All right.
The issue of our budget is something that is so important and can never be overemphasized.
All right.
Even though I'm not an economist, but the doctor has said everything.
Okay.
So the president himself, he is there because he knows the problem of Nigeria and he knows he will solve it.
That's why he
So let him get people like the doctor because he's an economist and so on. To advise him on how to solve Nigeria problem, to make a budget that will solve our cushion our problem.
Thank you for this advocacy. Thank you.
Yes. So that is my contribution. My regard to Dr. Please. Welcome.
Thank you very much. And this one is coming from Sabitu Habibu. He's saying, good morning, gentlemen of the praise. I recommend the doctor for the marvelous submission. Keep it up. Have a lovely day from Habibu Sabitu Lele. Thank you so much for sending in yours at this moment. And we'll just take a few also and we'll get done for today. Hello. Morning. I think there's a drop call there. Yes, of course. Let's just read this. This one is saying, okay, Kulbi and Dr. Isa, we are grateful. Happiness makes you delighted. Trial makes you stronger. Sorrow makes you hopeful. Failure makes you humble. Be strong and hopeful in life. Hassan Garba. Okay, Hassan Garba, thank you. Always praying for us there. Doctor, I think we'll just let you respond to some of this because we have just barely a few.
Could be. Let me generalize this. Somebody asked the question, that is it possible to have passed a budget in 3 days? I think it's possible if the House of Assembly is really working, but then there could be critical areas that need scrutiny very well. It might not have been given the right thing that is supposed to be given, the right attention or the right scrutiny that is supposed to be done. Maybe the government is doing it hastily because of pending issues on political scenes of Plateau State. I think that's something odd. And generally could be. What I'm advising the government today is failure of previous governments is their lack of resilience, lack of commitment, and lack of using technical experts to implement what has been said to them advisably on the economy. For instance, now, the problem of Nigeria is that too large. And from what I see, we become diffusers when we begin to say we want to tackle the problem at the same time when we have very little resources to do that. Can we restrict these problems to one or two of them so that we give them, finishing touches and, to the international level? Assuming now the government says, okay, I'm happy to hear about 263 roads, federal roads will be reconstructed by Tinubu's administration. Assuming the government is holistic in that approach, the first 1 year, 2 years, let them, you make sure all the roads in Nigeria, federal roads, have been properly tarred very well. I think Nigerians will have hope because assuming the road now from here to Kaduna, which is one of the most critically bad roads, then road from maybe say from Illiri to, let's say, Jalingo to Numan to Patiskum and so on, let them be constructed from Mokwa maybe to say Jabba and whatever, and all the roads, maybe in Newi going to Abba Road, from Afikpo going to Abba Road, all these things around the country we have been seriously dilapidated. Let them be constructed within 1 year, 2 years, all of them. Nigerians will begin to have hope. If workers now who have very little salary, assuming 30,000 naira is what somebody takes in 1 month, 1 day, 1,000 naira, assuming you review their salary to 100,000 naira per one person, that amount of money will sink into the market, and the people in the market will see the money. Hopes will begin to come into Nigerians, assuming we begin to take drastic and serious proactive actions. At the same time, we are making people to be happy, take decisions, input for decision making from them. There will be hope in Nigeria. I want to advise the government to try all these possible ways. They can see how rekindled will be the hope of Nigerians.
Okay, that's the final word I want to believe.
My final word? Yeah, I think my final word is let's try to change, because change begins with me. When we begin to do things that are good, for instance, instance, in our working places, we are all contributing to what is bad. Assuming somebody wants to open a company today, he will have to go through Corporate Affairs Commission, goes through maybe Bank of Industries and so on. But from one part of the government to the other, you have a lot of bottlenecks there. Somebody could say, give me so. If you don't give me so amount of money, he will throw away your file somewhere. It will stay for like 1, 2, 3 months without being attended to. So these are our own actions and inactions that are contributing more to the troubles of Nigeria. When we begin to change ourselves in our own little way, and if all of us, about 80-90% of us will change for the better, the country will be better about 60-70% on its own self. Then we begin to talk of the leaders. But then we cannot be that too bad, too corrupt, and then we are expecting things to fall from heaven. We need to do good things for our own selves so that the country could be good.
Like Mr. Kalu Ake would say, we also need to change. And thank you so much. With this, we've come to the end of today's edition of Unity Train. I really want to say thank you for staying tuned. And then for those of you watching us from far and near, we will be here again tomorrow for another interesting editions. And Dr. Isa, thank you very much. You didn't answer the other question that you promised to be here on and on. Anyway, thank you. That's the much we can take.
Yeah, I hope to be there always.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Do have yourself a lovely day. Till tomorrow.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer mansion?